Good morning, it's Ali here from SpokeandThimbleHomestead here in New Zealand. This morning I thought we'd take a little bit of a wander around, see what's changed around the place, mainly in the top area. Not much has changed down the bottom in the lower field, so we'll leave that for today. We're going to start in the front corner with this dahlia, the golden scepter dahlia, which I planted a couple of bulbs. Yes, I need to get some grass down. I might get to that today, or it might be one other day during the week. These two canna lilies seem to be growing well. They've got new growth and they are taller than they were a few weeks ago. Magnolia is leafing up. It's got some new leaves coming out the top there. We'll go a little closer and have a look. There we are. It's lovely to see things putting out new growth. And yep, got to do some cutting down there. This Brandywine maple in front of me, I'm really pleased with its growth, and I'm going to take you around the back and show you something what I think is quite interesting. So let's wander around here. So you can see here, and if we go down here you can see, well, it's a little bit hard between all the leaves. Let's go through here. So you can see there I've splintered it. So in some winds, what happened? Well, it was the winds, or it was the puppy, or a combination of both. Anyway, we discovered that this branch had come off. My dear husband cut it flush, and then I thought, well, I'll try and graft it to itself. Not sure if it's possible, not sure if it has worked. I'm going to leave it supported and grafted for a bit longer. However, the thing that intrigues me about this maple is that the branch, which is now the taller branch, was actually the secondary branch that comes out down there. You can see where it joins. Comes off here. So this was the main trunk, and I believe that this one here has now taken over and has become the main trunk. Why I think that is because at the beginning of the season it was around about here, so quite a lot lower than this main branch, and definitely a lot shorter than what it is now. So if you know anything about whether maples do that kind of thing, whether they change from one trunk and then produce this newer, stronger trunk, I'm picking that branch may not survive. What was the former trunk may not survive, and I may have to chop it off. But I'm giving it a little bit of time. If you know anything about whether they do this, you could pop it in the comments below. That would be fantastic. Thanks. This tiny lemon, yes, it still has a few leaves. I think it's being eaten, possibly by slugs. So I need to give it some attention, probably a bigger cage, and then I'll swap this one out and use around the veges. And yes, a good weed. Here's camellia that I planted not so long ago. It's doing pretty well too, and I believe it may have some more flower buds. We shall wait and see. If it does, I will definitely be showing you. Excuse any background noise you may be able to hear. There's sanding going on elsewhere today. Say hi to Paddy, who was sitting and got up and walked away when he saw me coming towards him with the camera. Perhaps he's a bit camera shy. Anyway, moving on, the miniature rose here. It's flowered, it's finished flowering. However, it is putting on some new growth. So hopefully that will flower soon. I'll be able to wind it through the trellis and we'll see what happens there. Moving on to look at this flower garden. This dahlia has come out to flower again. This is one of a packet of seeds called Rainbow Mix that I grew from seed, and it's its third season, I think. The sunflowers have grown phenomenally and are starting to form flowers. So this is one of the Moulin Rouge. If you saw one of my videos from earlier, you will have seen that there was a lot of grass and I knew some of it was seeding. So the old quote, 1 year seeding, 7 years weeding. Yeah, well, there we go. I'll get to it. This week, the calendula snow princess, some of it's dying off, but some of it's still taking off. It looks like a little dahlia has sprung up there and a slightly different calendula. That's the snow princess there, and this one appears to be a different one. This lovely red one, you can see some of it's died back. Need to chop that, but it's coming away again, thankfully. This dahlia here, Liz Beige, not sure how to say it. I'll Google it, put its name up here. This is quite stunning. All of our visitors over the weekend loved this. I'm going to dig up the bulbs after it's finished and I will post some down to them. Just wandering back here. This is the White Knight sunflower, and it is also developing its flower head, following the sun as they do. I've got some beautiful cosmos there. There's a few others springing up and I'm hoping they're different colours, and this is the other Moulin Rouge sunflower, which is also growing really well. The chickens are happy and I'm just going to stand here to show you our new residence. My camera's not the best, but hopefully you can see some goslings. I'll show you a little bit later where they are living. So what we've done, I'll just step inside, it's a bit mucky. Another job for today is I have sectioned off a portion of the greenhouse, very rustic gate and barrier, but they work for now. Their feed pan, we popped a couple of sheets up because the first day we got them, they were trying to go through the window, and I also thought it would cut down some of the light. Well, these goslings must be getting used to me. They must be getting used to the sound of my voice. I think this is pretty much the first time that I've been standing here and they have actually wandered closer. They're listening at the moment to the drilling that's going on in one of the other areas, but I'm also catching them. Yes, they are definitely helping themselves to those stones for their digestion. In fact, one of them is even standing in the pan. I was told they were quite funny and they'd be fun to watch, and I'm finding that that is definitely so. See if we can zoom you in a little bit. There we go. I probably won't show you all of this footage, but it's the first time I've got this close to them drinking out of this bucket. So I'm just going to film it and watch it for a minute, even if I just send some of it to my friend. So they're also still just peeping at the moment. We haven't heard any honking. Oh, seriously? You're going to sit on there? Okay, we're all having a little sit down now. They tend to move in a gaggle, is what they do. I mentioned before that there is a gate planned for between the post here and this post here. That will section off that area. The chicken fencing, the white electric fencing, Until this morning, it was across in front of the clothesline there. And just this morning I've moved it so they've got a little bit more area. They are actually eating the grass down, and that is part of the reason why we got them. Well, probably the primary reason we got them is to help us to control the grass, of which we have a lot, especially in the lower meadow. Moving on to this peach tree, Hosanna peach, named after the stones from a tree which grows on the church property of the church we attend. I've weeded around it, weeded within the cage, all of the dock that I actually pulled up as I was weeding, I've put inside the cage as one layer of mulch or food. And then, as you can see, I've put the sheep's wool. So this sheep's wool I've been gifted, and it will make brilliant mulch. It should last up to a couple of years. I have a whole lot more to put around most of my other fruit trees, I'm hoping. So I'll be interested to see how the geese do in here. They have got quite a bit of this grass down over the last few days. I have only just opened up this area to them today, so we shall see how they do over the next few days. If necessary, I will scythe some of it. I'll also be interested to see whether they discover the comfrey and whether they eat it, because apparently they do like comfrey. This comfrey grew from roots that poked their way through the bags I was growing them in, little planter bags. Doesn't worry me, as the more comfrey the better. A little bit of comfrey here and there for the animals to peck away at is a good thing as far as I'm concerned. So yes, I have taken the electric netting across the gate here. That's just because it was easier than putting it somewhere else. So yes, it means I do have to remove one weed mat staple and lift up the netting and move it, but that's not a problem. I'll do that now. In fact, I just thought about it. Sometimes it takes me a little bit to figure things out. You know, you put a weed mat staple in somewhere and then discover, oh, actually, if I were to put the weed mat staple here, down here where I've pegged it now, then I can just pick up the other end of the gate, take it across and plonk it there. And then when I'm finished in this garden area here, I can just easily put it back. So that is what I have done. Let's go through into the main vegetable production area. Well, it will be one day. My rose is looking a little bit black spotty. Might have to give it a garlic spray, see if that helps. I have been watching this hollyhock because I really love the colour, and look what I've just discovered. The seeds are coming. I'm going to pocket this lot and watch out for some more. Right, this is the raspberry that I planted recently, probably a couple of months ago now. I have to look at the date. And yeah, look, see the grass, the growth, the rain. It's wonderful we get the rain and then we get the growth. So I'm going to have to get my short scythe out again. But I'm really pleased with this growth. You can see there's some deadwood there I need to cut away. I'm not at all worried that this has not produced berries this year, but it will next. And it's starting to put down good roots from the look of it. So this is our crop of potatoes. Some of them are flowered. So it is likely just about time to dig them up. One of my tasks for today is to weed this potato patch. I think I'll give them a drink of comfrey tea. They're looking a bit yellow. I guess that means it's time to harvest them. We've always just had volunteer potatoes before. Maybe we did plant some once, but this is my first time growing quite a few for us to eat. So it's going to be exciting to uncover them and see what we have. And this is the rootstock bed. So possibly last time you saw this, it was a bit of a weedy mess, part cleared and part not. But I finally managed to get it all done. I was a bit late this year, but I thought better late than never, and I consider this year an experiment because I have not done rootstock before. So here we have a cherry rootstock. The buckets are just to contain the sawdust so that the blackbirds don't spread it around everywhere, as I'm sure they'd love to do. This is a 793 rootstock, which is good for down in wetter or clayey areas. This is a Myrobellin plum. I'm still getting my head around what to do with them, but as far as I can work out, you do not put the sawdust around them. This is the boysenberry, which is flourishing quite well, and I noticed it has another new shoot down here. It's very prickly. Let's pick it up by a leaf. I need to tie that shoot up as well. I shall come back to do that. This is a M9, which is good for small rootstock. They often need staking. This is a Mariana plum rootstock. Again, getting my head around it. These peach rootstocks, I got quite a few stones, but I only got one rootstock. I may have another couple around still in bags. And this is a Northern Spy, another apple rootstock, and again good for wetter or clayey areas. And this one here, MM10M, I didn't think it had survived. Maybe, just maybe we have some new growth. If we do, that will be fantastic and I will be very happy. Again, I may have another rootstock. We also have, of course, dock. But that's okay. I'll pull it out, keep the leaves and get rid of the rest. The reason I put cages around things or stakes by things so I can find them, but wow, look at that. That vege is above the top of the cage now. And these were all only about halfway up, I think. So I'm thrilled with that. Time to do some weeding. Let's find the other ones. Yep, that one's doing pretty well. And so was that one. So were the dandelions. And so was that one reached the top of its cage as well. I harvested some more comfrey the other day so that I could put it around the grapefruit tree. But this is what I harvested quite a few weeks ago. And look at it. It has just taken off and it's starting to flower again. Such phenomenal growth. And this, if you've been following, this is one of the poplar poles that I planted last year when we pruned our other poplars out the front. It's doing really well as well. This is the other boysenberry. This is the one I got from Edible Gardens. It is called Mapua. And even though the top is looking a little bit ragged, it also has some lovely new growth there. Getting things into their own spots is certainly a wonderful thing. And panning across slightly, time to harvest the rhubarb again, I believe. Yes. Look at those yummy stalks. This one here, that's the thinner one, but still got a few decent stalks. And, you know, I haven't weeded around that one yet. I know. I'm always getting to the weeding. And there's this tiny one here in amongst the dock. It's just starting to get established, I hope. And yes, always there's grass to cut. One day the job will be a lot easier. I will only have to mow, weed whack, or scythe in between the garden beds. For now, it's just a big empty space. And hopefully this winter, I will get a lot of garden beds dug. We shall see. There we go, a last shot of the potatoes. So the grass in here was shorter, but pretty much like the grass in the area I showed you just before. So I'm hopeful that the geese will continue to eat it down. Obviously they don't like all of the plants, but that's okay. I can whack those ones down with my scythe, just a bit less work to do. This grass here was all about the length of that small patch there, and as you can see, most of it has been eaten down till it looks like a lawn. And this is what they do. The goslings, they graze. Towards the end of last week, as well as the peach, I tackled this grapefruit. This grapefruit, when I planted it, it got hammered by slugs. I'm not sure if they had laid their eggs before it came to me or if it was afterwards, but no matter wherever they came from, the slugs hammered this grapefruit. It got most of its leaves eaten, and thankfully more grew back. However, it had got a lot of grass in the enclosure, so I weeded around the inside. I got a drill and screw bit, removed the screws from the taller from over in the corner where there's the two poles, where the windbreak is sandwiched between the two poles and held together with screws. Once I'd got rid of all the grass, I then cut a whole lot of comfrey down. Well, actually probably just one plant of comfrey because it's so generous. Took the comfrey down, and then as you can see, as with the peach, I've again given this a layer of wool. Something I found out about the raw wool is that apparently slugs don't necessarily like it. They don't like the feel of it on their bodies. So I'm hopeful that that may well be another deterrent. And as well as that, I have some garlic spray concentrate that I made, and I will pop that into my sprayer today, and I will give it a spray. There's not too much wind, there's no rain, and so it's likely a good day to spray it, and the smell of that also helps to deter the slugs. Oh, and the other thing I did is, it might not be too easy to spot. I'll go a little bit closer. If you're a homesteader, you're used to poop. So it's all the gosling poop. Around the grapefruit enclosure over there, I picked up a lot of the gosling poop and put that on as well to compost down. So here's this acacia I planted here. This will be my next job, possibly today, and then the ones within here are done. To take the cage off, weed around it, and put, again, some wool. The acacia probably doesn't really need the wool quite so much, but it will just help to keep the moisture in over the coming days. The chickens are loving this extended area. It's quite interesting to watch. The goslings go into the chicken coop area, the chickens all huddle in an area, but then when the goslings go to a different place, the chickens come exploring, and of course they have different functions. The geese graze down the grass, the chickens eat the bugs. Wonderful. I may eventually pop them into the garden space there if I can manage to put something around the rhubarb and things. Anyway, that's just me thinking aloud. Let's go on over by that poplar and tithonia. Tithonia? No, I meant Tagesasti by the poplar. So this Tagesasti, I'll probably give it a little bit more of a chop this year and get it into a little bit of a better shape. And then we have this peach here. It's growing quite well. And look at that. There's a resident spider there. Whoopsie, too close. And there's a resident spider in there, or I guess it's a spider. We'll let them be for now. So each of these trees, I will, one by one, maybe just one a day, maybe two a day, depending on time. I don't move as fast as I used to. I just quietly go about the tasks. I'm the gardener around here, basically just me, so I can only get so much done. So I will with my short scythe the grass around all of them and put sheep's wool around all of them. We'll just go over by the fence here. So you can see the standard batten barbed wire, and watching where I put my fingers, this sticker wire here is part of an 8-strand fence. The skinny one just below it right there, that's electric. So not touching that. That could be turned on for cows. It would give me a lovely big jolt. However, hooked over the top of here and screwed to that post at the end there. This is the wire, the square wire that we found across the stream on top of one of our poplar trees that had been, I don't know if it was pulled out by the council or blew over, but anyway. So it's actually got a narrower gap here, and then it's slightly wider, and it gets wider as it goes up. It was a bit crumpled, a bit squished. It's over 30 meters, which is a good length, and we have temporarily rolled it out, hooked it over, and the plan is to get some more staples and things, and then to attach it on our side of the boundary fence here, and it will contain not only geese but dogs. This is one of the Tithonia I planted, Mexican sunflower, recently, and it also is growing really well, as they do. I'm really pleased with that. It must have settled in. We'll weed around it. Here's the Fijoa hidden there in its bottle. And can we give you a view? Yes, we can. Down in there. So this, there we go, that's better. This now needs a cage, but it was so tiny when I put it out. It would have been only 5 centimeters, 2 inches high, maybe at its tallest. And so yeah, I wanted to give it that little greenhouse while it was a baby plant. So this peach has red leaves. It looks like they're losing their colour a little bit, but maybe it just needs some food. And again, it will get the weeding, and it will also get the comfrey and sheep's wool treatment. This is a Moor Park apple. It's growing quite well. It's putting on some new branches from the look of it. And I'll probably be able to take these weights off soon. Those are just to try and train these branches here so that they take on a better shape. And I may have to do it with other branches as well. And yes, again, it needs a weed. This is the other Tithonia. It's growing well as well. This is a Washington navel orange. So it did have some blossom, but as I thought, it hasn't retained any fruit, and it will also get the comfrey and sheep's wool. This is the other poplar pole that we planted last year. It's growing really well as well. I'm quite pleased because initially the branchlet that came out the top, well, there's some blight that seems to happen. I'll check the other trees in a minute. It gets spotty and then it gets all sooty on the back. The main little shoot that came out broke off in a big wind, and it's grown another one. So that will be its main trunk, and it's from the top, and it's a central one, so that is fantastic. We made this pole slightly longer because we wanted it to we wanted it to hopefully catch up a little bit to some of the others. Oh dear. Oh, yep, it's still alive. I did pull the grass away from this. In there, there's a chestnut, so that needs A, weeding, and B, a bigger cage. If you hear hammering, hopefully it's not too loud. This will be the 4th or 5th time I've tried to film this bit, so we'll just press on, I think. One other thing to show you up here is this orange electric netting we've been given by the same person who put us in touch with the person that we got the goslings from, and she blessed me with it. She had been given it, and so she just wanted to pass it on to somebody who would be able to use it. It has quite a few holes in it. I'll give you an example. So you can see there quite a lot of holes, but that's okay. We've got an up hole and there's another whole lot there. So it's either lost its little orange thingies. However, I'm sure I'll be able to repair it, and even if we don't put up an electric unit, it will still be very useful. This is the other oak we were gifted, and it's putting on some good growth there. I haven't worried about putting a cage around this. We'll see how it does. It's pretty protected by the fence, and probably getting some shelter from the long grass at the moment. And there are potatoes hiding back in there if you can spot them. This is my little part of my tree nursery. They're doing really well. I have staked them up. However, looking at some of them, some of these taller ones here, so some of these have put on quite a bit of new growth and are likely going to need pulling back over here again. So that, yes, that one too, so they don't flap too much in the breeze. And the vege, they have also put on quite a bit of growth. These ones are all looking a bit sick. That's because they're in far too small of a pot. So I really need to pot those ones up. And some of them will be gifted. And both the honey locust and the manuka are doing well, but again, they need potting up. And animals. You put water down for one animal and other animals find it, which is fine. And there's the chickens having a good scratch in the goose enclosure while the geese aren't here. These are the 2 IBC containers we got recently, and the one that will be going for my watering system is that one right there. One of the tasks I've set for myself today is to gather some sand for the chickens' dust bath. The geese have been helping themselves to it as well. Sometimes we have quite a bit down at our stream, but after the last rains and all, there's not as much as usual. So I'm going to head upstream where I know there's a little bit just up the corner from where we live. I've got a rope attached to my belt because I'm going to take Misty. This little bag over my shoulder, it's sort of a prototype. It's just pinned together at the moment. But when I'm listening to audiobooks, when I'm weeding and things, I pop my phone in there, and it means I can click my headphones in and reach my phone easily, and it's not falling out of my pockets, which I have had happen sometimes. Got my trusty cart with a couple of buckets and a double-handed tub, and I've got my little spade and a walking pole because I know I will have to go across the stream probably a couple of times. Just helps me to be a bit steadier. Okay, here we are down at the stream. If I suddenly jerk, that's because Misty is attached to my waist and sometimes pulls me slightly off balance. Just a quick shot before Misty tangles me up or chases. I could hear some pukeko screeching just before. There we go, 3 containers full. It's very pretty down here, very sunny on this stretch. There's Misty. Oh, there goes the pukeko. Missed it. But Misty could smell it. And Misty could hear it. Hey Misty? And there's cows in the background as well that she's alerting to. Right, back we go. It's going to be a bit of a task hauling this through. But the water helps a tiny bit, not much because it's not very deep. But I'll just take it slow. Have I said how much I love this cart? If I haven't said how much I love this cart, I love this cart. Just taking it through the stream. It's been above the wheels in a couple of places and it just keeps going. Come on, Misty. Come on. Good girl. Come on, back we go. Afternoon. So I've got all ready. I'm about to clear the grass around this acacia, cut its cage in half, and the other half will likely go to the vege later, perhaps tomorrow, perhaps this afternoon if I've got lots of energy left. I've got my tablet with an audiobook. I've got a banana in case I get hungry. I'll pop you onto time lapse so that it crunches it down to a few seconds or a minute or two instead of what will probably take me a good hour because I don't exactly move that fast anymore. Right, that's that all weeded, this acacia, cage in half, and as you saw, I picked up a bit of the goose poop, manure, may as well. Just been to get some comfrey, and I've got some sheep's wool here, so I'm going to put the comfrey on first, then the sheep's wool, then that will be one more plant done. Right, that's it, job done, 2 trees done. I might come out again when it's cooler, still pretty hot at the moment. I'm happy with what I've achieved today. I think I'll head inside, going to have a cuppa. This vegoa looks pretty small in here, but like the others, it will grow. Hopefully it will rain soon and wet all this wool down and help to keep this vegoa growing well. Catch you later.